All right, today we're going to look at I can compare rational numbers. And so we're just going to dive right in. Remember the symbols that we are using. We have less than, greater than, and equal to. So the first ones that we're going to look at here are 4/7 and 6/7. This one you could actually take care of with a picture, or if you just think about it, you have 4 out of the 7 pieces on this side and 6 out of the 7 pieces on this side. So obviously the 6 out of the 7 is going to be larger. Remember, we use this symbol because it is eating, if you'd like to think about this as a crocodile, eating the larger number. If I was to read this out loud, it would be 4/7 is less than 6/7. All right, let's take a look at another one. 3/5 and 3/7. Again, there are some commonalities here with these two fractions, but this time we have the numerators are the same. So we kind of have to think about this a little bit differently. If I look at 3/5, and I think if I have the same size pizza and I cut it into 5 pieces versus a pizza that's cut into 7 pieces, the pieces on here, on this side split into 5 pieces, are actually larger than the pieces that are split into 7. So if I have 3 of the larger pieces, that is going to be more food than 3 of the smaller pieces. And so you can tell that I kind of reasoned my way through that problem without getting a common denominator at all because of the numerators being the same. So if I was to read my answer out loud, it'd be 3/5 is greater than 3/7. All right, another problem where we can do some comparing would be 5/8 and 2/3. This time we don't have a common denominator and we don't have a common numerator, and I'm just going to go ahead and get a common denominator so that I can compare these two. So I'm looking at the 8 and the 3, and I'm thinking to myself, what is the least common denominator? So I know if I start with multiples of 8, I have 8, 16, 24, and I know that 3 also goes into 24. So my common denominator is actually going to be 24, which I also could have found just by multiplying the 8 and the 3. So if I multiply 8 times 3, I got 24. So I'm going to need to do that to the 5 as well. 5 times 3 is 15. Now I'm going to look at the 2/3. I had to get 24 at the bottom, so I multiplied the 3 by 8. So I'm going to multiply the 2 by 8. Now this is just like the first one we did together where they have a common denominator. This one I had 15 and this one I had 16. So the 16 is greater than the 15. If I went back up to the original problem, I would read that 5/8 is less than 2/3. All right, and we have one more problem that we're going to take a look at. This time we're going to be comparing decimals. So 2.08 and 2.8. All right, when I compare decimals, I think it's really important to line up your decimals or to make sure that the number of places after the decimal are the same. So this one has 2 places after the decimal, and this one only has 1. So I'm going to fill it with a 0 to make sure that they both have 2 spots after the decimal. So this is 2.08 versus 2.80. If I wanted to think about money, this would be $2.08 versus $2.80. Sometimes thinking about money helps you to see it a little bit better, quicker. $2.80 is going to be bigger than $2.08. So if I read this final answer, 2.08 is less than 2.8. Thanks, and hopefully you have a better handle on comparing rational numbers.